Four Players by Barstool Sports. It is a very big episode with a lot going on in the world. Currently, we have Max Homa, who just won his fourth PGA Tour event. We are 1 week away from the PGA Championship, which is the second major of the year. Tiger Woods will be playing. No clue if Phil Mickelson is playing. We have more news about Phil Mickelson and potential debts. We have comments from Sergio Garcia. We have a bunch of fan questions to get to. We have some drama at Barstool Sports. We have in the current NHL world, the St. Louis Blues are tied 2-2. The Rangers are down 2-1. That could change by the time this podcast comes out. And the New York Islanders have just announced in a stunner minutes ago that they fired head coach Barry Trotz after a terrible season. But the year before and the year before that, they had back-to-back appearances in the Eastern Conference Finals. I doubt anybody on this show will have any thoughts on that whatsoever.
The fuck are we doing? What the fuck on the heels of the Rangers being the biggest embarrassment of the NHL playoffs over the last week? The Islanders go out on a day that just didn't need to happen. There's no contracts up or anything. There's nothing going on. The Islanders are out golfing, enjoying the offseason. Let these other teams get their shit done. The Rangers are in the playoffs. They're losing, blowing leads. They can't win over in triple overtime. They come all the way back. They get their hearts ripped out by the 45-year-old Penguins. Then, all of a sudden, Lou Lamoriello, out of the fucking clouds, fires what is, to me, the most successful, bright, shining light in my lifetime as a New York Islanders fan. Barry Trotz was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my sports fandom life as a New York Islanders fan. And he has now been thrown to the curb, kicked out, saying that the team needs a new voice. And this was a decision that was not taken, that was not made easy. And it was not made overnight, which I don't even know what that means. Barry Trotz made 3 consecutive playoff runs, 2 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals runs. His record with the Islanders is absurd compared to where they were my whole life. I mean, you're talking 8-70 type team, or what? Like, you're talking the worst teams of all time in those early 2000s years with the New York Islanders. And to have
or somebody must had it out for him. It was like somebody scoring, like offensive player must have been.
I could see Barzal being very against him because it doesn't help his career at all. What do you have? 15 goals or something this year?
Right, so Barry Trotz is a system coach. He's always played like that. Now, the thing that made him successful in Washington was that he had Ovechkin and fucking Oshie, and he had Backstrom. So, like, you could play those defensive styles. And then you also have some of the best offensive players in the history of the game on your team. So, like, that's kind of how he used to run his team. Now you come to the Islanders, you implement all that defense, but you don't have those types of players. Like, Brock Nelson, the guy's fucking scored 37 goals. He's an American hero. But you don't have like an Alexander Ovechkin to pair it with, or you don't have a Backstrom, whatever. So maybe they're seeing like you need some sort of spark in the offense. But like, dude, their defense scored no goals last year. They had no offense from their defensemen. That's all personnel. So, like, how do you just get...
me not one defenseman scored a goal
They
last
did,
year?
But, like, dude, Chara scored a goal, his first goal of the season with 2 games left. Fucking Pelech may have had, like, 3 goals. Like, I mean, I don't know that, like, a defenseman had more than, like, 15 points all year.
All right.
So, like, that's all personnel. So, it's fucking ridiculous is my point. Is that, like, keep the guy who's, like, dude, he's second all-time in Islanders head coaching wins history. He's only been there for 4 years.
All right, so I expected this reaction from Frankie because I know that he loves Barry Trotz. He tweets out a picture of Barry after every Islanders win. This was an expected thing for me as a guy on the outside. I am curious to know, Lurch and Riggs, as guys who are not fans of the Islanders, it's always, it's indicative of a move how your enemies react. So I'll be curious to know how you guys feel not as fans of the Islanders.
I would say it's objectively a very surprising move. Okay. Very surprising move. He had, I think, 1 year left. Is that right, Frankie? 1 year left on his deal. 1 year left on his deal. You could justify away this one bad year with the COVID cases and how unlucky they got and how the regulations changed afterwards, where teams didn't have to play through and go through all of that. Still, bad year is shocking. And then you could argue it the other way, which I'm sure Lou is, which is like, we obviously have the personnel on the team to win. I mean, they were goals away from the Stanley Cup Finals and very realistically could have won the Stanley Cup if they got past Tampa Bay Lightning. So it's like, clearly the team hasn't really changed. So they clearly have the right players to be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the NHL. And then this year we're horrific. So you could explain that away either direction, but you would never expect, after how good they've been, and like Frankie said, from where they came. It's not like they were awesome They got Barry Trotz. They continue to be pretty awesome. Then had a bad year. They fucking sucked. Were an embarrassment of the league for decades, and then became one of the best teams in the league, playing a pretty unique system against. And if you look at the scores right now in the playoffs, I mean, all the teams that are successful in the playoffs scoring a ton of goals. The scores are outrageous in the NHL playoffs right now, and they play kind of a New Jersey Devils late '90s style. It's like trap and commit to the system, but clearly it was working. So I would say overall, it is if overall, it was shocking. When I saw that, I thought it was a parody thing a little bit. Pretty shocking.
I'm honestly, as like, a rival, I'm happy. It's like,
yeah,
it's a complete shock. Like, I hated playing against the Islanders. They played tough. I think I was just reading I think they went from last in the league in defense to first the first year of Barry Trotz. So like playing against that style is super frustrating. Because it slows down the game. They take certain chances, and then you're down 1-0, and you're like, dude, I thought we had the puck for like 70% of the time. So yeah, I think it's a real shock. Like, that guy's a stud of a coach. He knows what the hell he's doing. That's why I'm saying, I'm shocked to hear some of Frankie with just like the inside baseball knowledge that he has of the team, because like I feel maybe Lou thought like it was incredibly mismanaged this year with COVID, or he lost the locker room, because I really don't have much more of an explanation for it. He had a bunch of good runs and had one down year, which like can happen in hockey. And they really just set themselves back in the first like 3 months of the year. And then they were really nowhere to be found no matter how good of hockey they played. So it's a crazy day, honestly. I was like, nice. Maybe they'll get like another coach that will totally F it up and play a softer system, and they'll be shittier than they are.
The only thing they have to do now, and if they go another route, I'm going to be fucking livid. They have to just hire the assistant coach, Lane Lambert, who's just been with Barry Trotz the whole time. Maybe just a different voice. I'm hearing like a little inside baseball stuff. Like, he's kind of been like already in charge for most of the guys. Like, he's the guy guys would go to. He's been there forever. He's a good players coach. If you just like insert him in, maybe, I don't know.
Part of you want to see a different style, Frankie? Does part
No,
of
I
you
want
see
the
like
same
a younger,
style.
faster, not younger,
No.
but like run and gun hockey?
No. They tried all the styles my whole life. The team is not built for run and gun hockey. They're built to play the same style they did when they made it one goal away from the Stanley Cup Finals. I want to do that exact same thing every single year for the rest of my life. And I want to add a little bit more offense. Like, that year, they went like 0 for fucking 95 on the power play in the playoffs that year, and still made it all the way through. So like, there's little things that always need to be fixed. This year was a fucked up year. Whatever. There's a lot of things happening in the world. Burner accounts, all this stuff's happening. I fucking
It
went
definitely
into my,
affects it for sure.
I went into my fucking
100%.
Reddit account. I want to let you guys know something, that I've used Reddit for deep, dark porn. And I had an account to save all my fucking bullshit in there
You're gonna 8
for
Mile
years.
yourself.
I'm
That's a good
talking
idea.
7 or 8 years of just the fucking most incriminating, disgusting, just like you couldn't believe. And I'm like, and I scoured the internet last night to just be like, let's just make sure that this search history doesn't just pop up, which I'm sure everyone has done at one point or another. But we start talking about work IPs and all this stuff coming out. That's a nightmare. All right. That's a full blown fucking nightmare that we've got a nuclear terrorist that's trying to release people's fucking search histories and likes. If the likes came out from a fucking Reddit account, I mean, you're talking how many cups of cum can make a girl full or something. I don't know what I don't know what I was liking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was
It's
liking.
amazing that we were just talking about the Islanders and we ended up there. But look, it's
Quite
clearly
crazy.
interesting time. Again, we just have a ton to get to. For anyone who doesn't know, I mean, I feel like we probably have a good amount of Fore listeners that have no idea what we're talking about. So we're going to fill you in on a little bit of drama without really touching on the drama, so that you understand what we're referencing. First, we got to tell you Tommy John. I'm wearing Tommy Johns right now. I imagine we're all wearing Tommy Johns right now. It's the only thing that I wear under my pants. My shorts are these Tommy Johns. I'm here on this trip.
Yeah, Frankie. Frankie showed his. Riggs is about to show his. Bang. We got underwear on the screen right now.
Ooh.
It's already a
looking
weird
good,
start
boys.
to the show, so we'll just
Oh,
everybody's showing their undies. Nobody revealed their dick. That's good. So Tommy
Huge.
John is the most comfortable maker of underwear in the world. When your summer heat is melting your popsicle, you need underwear that'll keep your tall boy on ice. That's Tommy John. I will say we're down in the South right now.
Tall boy.
We're at the Contraband Bayou Golf Course at La Berge Casino, and it is probably 91 degrees, humid. People are sweating through everything on their person. You got to have the most comfortable things underneath in the world in order to get through this today. And I've got Tommy John. You can shop TommyJohn.com/Fore right now for 20% off your first order. I actually used this, I believe, in the fall, and I ordered like 20 pair of Tommy John because I'm on the road so much, trips like this, 3 weeks on the road. You just don't want to run out of the good stuff. And then you're walking around, you get chafing, you get all kinds of horrific action going on, and you just can't get behind. If you get behind on that part of your body, you can't catch up. You just can't catch up. You almost have to go to like the hospital and just lie in a hospital bed for like a week and let yourself recover. So you can't get behind. Tommy John, they're just the best. They're breathable, moisture wicking fabric, keeps you 2 to 3 times cooler and dries 4 to 5 times faster than regular cotton. Get 20% off right now at TommyJohn.com/Fore. That is TommyJohn.com/Fore. See site for details. So for those that do not know what's going on, and it's not a hockey podcast, it's not a Reddit podcast, but we still got, this is gonna be a long show because we got a million things to talk about. A little bit of drama at Barstool Sports going on. With just some stuff. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to necessarily be sitting here taking sides. That's not what this show is all about. But it has led to a threat from Deke Zucker, who Deke Zucker is sort of the dark web, huge stoolie who used to tweet out quotes from Barstool Radio in real time and other things, and take a lot of them out of context, and it would just lead to all sorts of fucking chaos with Barstool employees. Our lives are public, our stances are public, our takes, our drama, our run-ins with employees. Everybody understands that. But he would tweet out all these different quotes, and he would get information, and he would be scouring Reddit and scouring Twitter and scouring every podcast for all kinds of information, trying to throw it in, stir that fucker up, and get the best drama that he could out of Barstool Radio and other Barstool personalities. Well, he clearly is on one person's side hard in this situation, and tweeted out that if the hashtag Team Hank is trending, he will consider releasing all the burner accounts on Reddit from Barstool employees. And I will say that it has long been rumored behind the scenes that Barstool employees use burner accounts on the comment section, on Twitter, on Reddit, and other platforms to shape public opinion in their favor and against potentially others. So if that came out, it could clearly be insanely damning to some folks. And now there's a campaign from many people to be like, fucking release it. Let's go. Let there be chaos in the office. I think it would be fantastic. I'm very much rooting for that. Very much rooting for that. But Frankie's right, is that it's a Pandora's box. And I don't know how you kind of cap it once you enter that realm.
It's just like we're entering. It's almost like we're entering the end game at this point, where it's just at some point the whole thing's coming down, right? Like I don't know that it ends with one person being like, "You're right, you got me." Like that person's not going down without a fight. Like it's all happening, and like I don't know that we should. It's ugly. It's ugly. And I love Deke. You know, Deke and I worked hand in hand with Barstool Radio. He was the only person that tweeted out radio clips. Like we literally had a full team of Barstool Radio. We had social media managers, and Deke Zucker was the only one that would tweet out like legitimate fucking quotes from the show that we would then retweet, quote tweet, use. Dave, we used it as our radio prep for the day. It was like Deke Zucker's Twitter. It was like, all right, what's going on in the world of Barstool? It's an amazing account that we thought we used to think Marina ran it at Barstool. We used to I used to stare at her at Deke Zucker tweets would be getting fired, and I'd stare at her across the office, and she'd kind of just have her hand on a keyboard and look at me. She knew what I was looking at, and she'd be like,
"You're taking down people though with this. I mean, like a burner account, comments. You're taking down relationships.
It's tough.
You're taking down pillars with
That's the
this
problem.
kind of release.
If it was strictly only released people that would write stuff about other coworkers, then I could understand it. But like you said, you can't really control it. Once you allow this puppy out, you can't ever bring it back in. It's over.
We're just having fun talking golf, and you're at LaBerge, and like I got fucking a tee time tomorrow. Like let's just fucking
just think about the fairway and green, baby. Let's all black everything out.
I will say, as a guy who
arrested,
I'm not going to make everybody say what they have and what they don't have. But as a guy who doesn't have a Reddit burner account, this has been a very interesting 24 hours because I have heard the rumors as well, Riggs, for a very long time about other employees having accounts, doing all sorts of different things. And you're right. There have been many efforts over the years to bring down Barstool from outside sources. A lot of it. We've all been through the wars. It's been a lot. Nothing would bring this place down faster than if that Reddit list gets out. That much I know. That much I am sure of. I am positive. And again, Deke is a great account, and I don't have a burner, so I'm sitting here kind of being like, oh, I kind of want to see somebody press the button. Like, you're kind of looking, there's a red button on the wall, and you're like, I don't know, just press it, maybe. And I understand the fallout.
That's like being in a war room. You're like, you know what? We can just get rid of this problem today if we all just press that button. And then you're like, tomorrow, you're like, fuck, we never should have pressed that fucking button.
I'm with you. I see both sides of it.
Fuck.
And there is a funny aspect of it where, when it's sort of like, when a cop is following you and you haven't done anything wrong, but you're like, man, I hope I don't get pulled over because maybe my taillight's out or something. I also have that part of it too, where I know I don't have a Reddit burner account. I've never created one. I don't go near that Reddit because it's a lot. For people who work here, it can be a lot. So I never got involved with it really. But I still feel like there's a cop following me, and if that list comes out, and be like, wait a second. But I don't think that's going to happen. But right now it's at Barstool Sports. There's a lot of tight buttholes.
It's a great analogy. Every employee has a cop behind them, and some people feel like they have a SWAT team behind them, and they're just waiting for the lights to go on. Honestly, like it's a miscommunication, like, oh, no big deal. Like, hey, you didn't turn on your blinker. Like a misdemeanor for anything you did or nothing at all. Some people have legitimately like the U.S. Army behind
Some people
them.
are probably hammered drunk driving with like flat tires. They're like,
dude,
no.
Some people are holding an unregistered AK-47 being like, oh no, I hope we don't get pulled over here. Like,
boy, would this be bad if we got pulled over? It'd be really bad.
If those lights go on, man, I'm not getting out of this place for the rest of my life.
Just like you're at a red light and then all of a sudden you just hit the gas. Boom! Whoa! Someone's just going to hit the gas. It's like, all right.
Right. Because whoever's got that locked AK-47, this list comes out, they have a chance to stop and face that officer or just hit the gas and run for the effing hills and never return or never to be seen again.
It really is kicking a bee's nest where you know where it starts, but you just don't know who's going to get hit. So, I mean, I don't know if Deke's going to do it. Again, it's that red button that it's just so enticing that everybody kind of wants to see. But Frankie is, at the end of the day, probably right, where it's just not worth it. Because I want to be able to pay rent. I want to be able to, I want to be able to do everything we've been doing. And there are things in this world that can happen where all that just goes away. And a burner Reddit list is probably one of them.
Deke taking redditlist.com away from me is something I'm going to have to deal with for a long time. And for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, you can go and do your own little search history on what that has to do with. But you go to Reddit list, you hit the NSFW on that little icon there, and it's the most itemized, beautiful place of the internet you've ever seen in your entire life. But the problem is a lot of times you have to do things in there that you don't want to have to do or tell your kids about. So he took that away from me last night, and that was unfortunate. I kissed goodbye to a really fun time in my life, and it is what it is.
I feel lucky right now because I'm with Trent. I never dabbled in that world. I have one account. I think it's just Riggs Barstool. And there was a time 4 or 5 years ago where I would go in and respond to a few things. I probably haven't logged in more than 2 or 3 times in the last year. Reddit's just not somewhere I ever dabbled in. But I also understand all the analogies. The cop, we're living a great life here. Don't ruin it. It would be the most Barstool thing of all time for everyone to try to bring us down from the outside, and we just bury ourselves. We just strangle ourselves from within in all sorts of turmoil and drama and infighting and horrific stuff that was revealed by ourselves because of our own things that we've done. It would be very fitting for Barstool Sports. I also don't like that world with IPs and whose accounts linked to what. I don't know how accurate that is. So like, what if he releases
that's my biggest thing
about
that's
like,
gonna
what's
like
I don't know.
How are we gonna like confirm Deke Zucker? Like Deke Zucker could take the whole thing. I'm the head of the state. I feel like at the front gates being like, we can't let this guy in for like.
You nervous. I seem a little nervous about it.
No, I don't want the whole thing to come down. Is my thing.
I don't either.
There could be some big names in there. I'm just saying, guys, there's a lot of money that's going around this place, and it's just like, who knows what was said? Who knows?
I will say, for a faceless account, which is Deke Zucker, he has a very good grasp on what's good and what's bad. Like, he really is, an incredible pot stir, an incredible content like motivator in the ways that Frankie described with the quotes out of context and stuff. So I think if this person or lady or man or woman or whoever it is, or multiple people, who knows, they know that if they press that red button, it's going to end. And I don't think they necessarily want to see that either. So
it's so funny how we're talking about like the end it's so funny.
Bro, I don't know if it's imminent, but it's certainly it feels closer than it ever has before.
What a powerful time to be Deke Zucker. Just really holding all of the nuclear footballs, the only man with access to it.
Dude, and we lived in that office. We grew with that office. We know all the rumors. We know how like crazy this place could be. Early days Barstool, that first office, man, that shit was fucking cutthroat. That was like you had to just try and survive. I don't know what people did back then. He's saying he's got things from 5 years ago. I'm talking this could be like what is it, Watergate? This could be Watergate.
I think the cop analogy is a great one too, because God forbid that button gets hit, you're going to see people face the music, and then you're going to see others just
run
for the hills.
Hold people hostage.
Yeah, and they're just gone. That car's not stopping, and they're going to have to shoot the tires out to slow that person down.
Someone's going to get held hostage.
You're right, too, Frankie. With Watergate, like there's probably some serious cover-up efforts going on right now that like once you get into people trying to cover up their transgressions in this world, and this could spiral into something we've never seen before in the 20-year history of Barstool Sports. And part of me is excited about that. We've said many times at Barstool, when you're not the center of the controversy, when you're not getting, roasted by Dave and Barstool Radio and whatever else, it is so fascinating to follow. But when you are the center of it, it ruins everything about your life. It sucks.
It can be the greatest reality show in the world. And I like the Team Hank thing, the hashtag Team Hank thing was the number 9 trend on Twitter in the country. Like it's when this place has something like this and it's just people can't get enough of it. There's no other company like that, for better or for worse. Like you can't name any other media company in the world that has the infrastructure that we have with all the podcasts and the gambling and all of this stuff where it's just like this really, innovative media brand. And then there's just this part where when you throw a bunch of weird brains together, weird shit happens. And Dave has been smart for 20 years where if you just put them together, even if they're not in the same office, which we were for a while, now it's a little bit more separated, but even if they're just within each other's orbit on the internet, weird shit is going to happen. And people can't get enough of it. And it's another one of those right now. The stakes seem a little higher right now with this one, but it's a part of Barstool that has been here since the beginning.
Secrets, man. You expose secrets, dude, and you see people change quickly.
Things are, the whole thing is insane. Yesterday was an insane day at Barstool Sports on Twitter. I almost crashed my car when I got certain news. I was driving and I got news and I almost crashed my car. Literally, I started honking the horn. Just like things were just fucking.
Out of stress, just pounding the.
No, not even that. Just like news. Or just like what? What's happening? Just fucking so much news was happening. Like,
on Twitter,
what is all this news?
Things leak on Twitter too in an incomplete fashion. So you got to kind of piece things together a little bit. You got to like reach out to people, but not like the wrong people. So you're trying to piece it together without coming off like you're piecing it together. It's just, it's unlike anything else. It is unlike anything else. What a company.
Yeah. KFC just did like if you've been talking shit about KFC behind his back and then act like you're like a normal person in real life, that's an insane thing. Like I just don't know how people are going to be able to live like that. So it's I'm an agent of chaos. I do enjoy chaos. I mean, I've always thrived in it. I don't want to say this. When things were happening, when the virus started popping up, do you remember that feeling of like, whoa, the world's like changing right now? Like, this is kind of crazy. Like the basketball players were getting taken off the basketball court. You're like, this is kind of
we're living through a movie.
You don't want to say it's cool, but it's definitely different. Like work got canceled for a week. You're like, what's happening? I can't leave my apartment. I remember saying to my roommates, like, there's something happening right now that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. And I'm kind of happy to be a part of it. And then it got to a point where it just became absurd. I mean, it was 3 years, but
it's intriguing. I know what you mean. It's like if each day that you wake up is pretty much the same and you could consider life pretty mundane and boring, when something that is pivotal and is going to be remembered forever is happening, it's definitely intriguing. I know what you mean. And you get that sense around you of like, something's happening here, fellas. Something's going on. It's maybe not be good. I hope it's good, but like at least something's happening.
On a much smaller scale, my brother and I used to feel that way about big blizzards that were coming into Cedar Rapids. Yes. You're just kind of like, they're like, this is the biggest one in 5 years. And my brother and I were like, what's that going to look like? They're going to shut down the streets. They're going to cancel work. They're going to cancel school. And you have that feeling of like, holy shit, this is going to be something that's going to like change.
I'm going to need to see this.
That's going to change my normal everyday activities. So,
yeah, exactly.
This thing that's going on at Barstool right now it's something.
Well, look, we're talking about intriguing, exciting. I don't know if you guys witnessed, I imagine you did, what happened at the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Gametime, all right, you want to be there. That's a moment where you could say, if you were at that Kentucky Derby, be able to hang your hat on the fact that you were at that event would be something you could talk about forever. Gametime would be the best way to do it. Gametime is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. They are the new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever before to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports concerts and shows. They guarantee the lowest price. Download the Gametime app. You go to the account tab, click create a login, redeem code Fore. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime, last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What an absolute event that was. What a moment. Rich Strike coming from a billion lengths back. No chance. Zero. None whatsoever. Not even a thought. Not even a consideration. Navigates his way through the back of the pack. Comes racing up and steals it as the longest shot. Amazing call from the announcer right as he crosses a finish line of the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby. And you're just getting chills the entire time. The drone aspect of it that has changed everything, where you get the true aerial look at what happened. And it's all these moving pieces on a board. And one of them just vaults up to the front. That video is going crazy viral. So again, Gametime, make sure you're at events, because events are the best thing ever. These guys went to a basketball game. I've still never been to an NBA game. We got playoff hockey going on, which we've already been discussing. So use Gametime, use the code Fore, F-O-R-E. You get $20 off your first purchase. But yeah, Kentucky Derby was as cool as I've ever seen in my entire life.
Dude, it's just one of those moments. It was one of those sports days. You had playoff hockey during the day. You had playoff basketball. Then you had the Kentucky Derby. Then you had the Rangers that night. It felt like a day. We were at a bridal shower of all the Canelo was on. All the dudes from the bridal shower were all at one house. We were like 25 guys. It was a great like day to be around like everyone and drinking beers and the boys, watching sport. And then we did this fucking thing where like you throw everyone's number, you throw a number in a hat, and then you just pick a number. And in racing, horse racing, you figure that out of the 21 horses that were running, or 20 horses that were running, 17 of them had no chance. So like if everyone threw in the same amount of money, 17 guys were like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like it's just, I have no chance. Making fun of the guy with the worst odds, Rich Stripe, the whole day. Like you're just a loser. You got like, at the time when we picked it, like the odds were 99-1. We're like, you're just an absolute nobody, Sean. Like you just can't win anything in your life. And all of a sudden, like we're watching that, and everyone has the same story, but you're watching it and you're like, can't believe this guy's fucking making this run right now. And fucking Sean's going crazy, red in the face, until he's purple, standing in front of the TV. He wins. No one believes it. Not one person believes that just happened. It's just, it was a moment. It's a moment you'll always remember.
It's maybe one of the best sports like clips I've ever seen in my life, of just where he like, I felt like in the movie The Star Is Born, when the dad's like, that was like 250 of those views. I could not stop watching the drone video of that horse, like coming, finding a pocket, sprinting through that. And then the last 200 yards, it's the fastest thing I've ever seen. It gets into this crazy gallop where it's like, that might be the fastest object in the world at this point in time. It is moving so damn fast. And the other horses are flying, and it's picking up like a half length of a horse every gallop. It was honestly amazing.
Well, that was crazy too, because every time I kept rewatching it, when Rich Strike went from like 18th to even like 6th, there wasn't that much race left. It was like,
no,
I felt like I'd been watching those two leaders run down the stretch for 10 minutes at that point, and he's still like 10 legs back and in like 6th place. And I'm like rewatching it, like, oh, that must have been edited. Like he didn't actually win. And then it's just like you said, the last 100 yards, it just vaults ahead of everyone, lightning pace. And I mean, if they would have kept going, that thing might have won by, it might have lapped the entire field if they like, it just was shot out of a fucking cannon.
I mean, at peak speed, that horse was running 2 to 3 times faster than all the other horses.
Felt like fast forward.
I don't know, man. And like the jockeys are insane. Actually, we had a jockey at the party. One of the dads of my buddies used to be a jockey, and he's talking to us about what you got to. Yeah, he's a tiny little fella, and you just got to like the way. I didn't know like how fucking strong their quads had to be. Oh no, imagine you'd fucking flatten that thing like a pancake.
Rich Strike would have literally got lapped by the field if I was on that thing. He
never gets out of the gate.
How strong their quads have to be, because apparently when you watch them, they're all the way up by the neck and the head. And I think they actually talked about this on the broadcast, but the head of the horse always wants to pull up as he's like finishing, and they gotta fucking push his head down every time he's popping up to keep that thing all the momentum forward. And you got to keep your quads like perfectly tight and straight so that you're not bouncing with the horse. If you watch them, you could put a glass of water on their back because they're so solid. It's a really, really remarkable feat to be able to ride those things that fast.
Yeah, jockeys are impressive. But I agree with you, Riggs, on your point of like, because the announcer, I would say, did just of a good job as Rich Strike. Like, the announcer was incredible.
Phenomenal.
And early in that video, he's like, and into the final furlong, and at that point, he's in like 17th place, it feels like. So, no, I don't know how long a furlong is. What is it? Is it anyways.
Quarter mile?
Your guess is as good as mine. How far is it, Frank?
No clue.
I would assume a quarter mile maybe, because it's like the last fourth.
I really are distance expert either usually.
Right, but anyways, that throws like the video off, and then he just rips to the front. I can't wait to watch.
He's got the voice too. I mean, there's a reason he's in the job, but it's like, here comes Rich Strike is coming up the inside, and the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby, and you're just like, oh my fucking god, you're like going crazy with him. It's just it reminded me of Doc Emmerich when he would just like, oh, and he scores in the last second of the game, and you're just like, how is his voice that perfect for this moment? I'm losing my fucking mind. It was awesome. It was absolutely
Tommy
awesome.
Smokes claims that the call of the Triple Crown with what's his fucking name? What was the Triple Crown?
Secretariat way back?
No, Triple Crown.
War or something? No,
War Emblem?
No, that was
no.
Are you kidding me?
Justify?
No.
American Pharaoh?
American Pharaoh.
Yep.
When American Pharaoh won at Belmont, that call, if you go back and listen to that, could be considered the greatest call in sports history. Just everything about it. Triple Crown, the crowd, his call, and then American Pharaoh was so ahead of everyone, so he had that 10 seconds to call it as American Pharaoh's crossing the line. It's something to definitely, after you listen to this podcast, go back and listen to that, because it's all time.
I'm gonna need to re-listen, because I enjoy this. I think that I'm gonna always believe the Al Michaels "Do You Believe in Miracles" call is probably the greatest call in sports history. But I'm not familiar with the American Pharaoh one, so I'll have to check that. This one's probably not gonna go as the greatest call in sports history, but it was so perfect for the moment and the upset. I think they said that was the second longest odds in the history of the Kentucky Derby, which is 150 years old, to win the Kentucky Derby. You just can't even imagine it. Got in last second because somebody else dropped out, withdrew. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Very inspiring. Gave you chills the whole time. So that was very cool. All right. On to golf. I guess we'll discuss golf on the Foreplay Golf Podcast. We're now, 30 minutes into the show. Max Homa, really his third win of the year. He defeated the 4-man scramble at Auction Southern Dunes. And then he, of course, goes on. You could say we're on a pretty big hot streak with the Foreplay bump. We had Scotty Scheffler on. He wins the Masters tournament. Well, we play a scramble against Max Homa. He goes out a couple weeks later and wins on the PGA Tour's fourth PGA Tour win. If you recall, when we played against Joel Damon a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, he went out a few months later and won his first ever win on the PGA Tour. So the Foreplay bump is pretty hot right now. I have to admit that. But Max Homa, he really is. He's kind of, I guess, up there with Rory in my mind, but he's really up there as from a personality standpoint and a way he handles the media, interviews, social media. And then that combination of how good he actually is at his sport, he's got to be one of the top if you factor both those things in at the same time. He's not just good anymore. He's won 4 fucking times in the last like 2.5 years. He went from 2017. He, I believe, made 2 cuts and made $18,000. And now he's vaulting into, I don't know where he's at in the official world golf rankings. He was like in the 20 somethings, I believe, coming in. Now he's got to be a quick search. Max Homa is 29th in the official world golf rankings. He keeps playing the way that he's playing. He's probably going to get to top 20, top 10 in the world. And yet he's also probably the most active on social media. He does every interview from us to other golf podcasts to Pardon My Take to anything that he's asked to do, he does with people. So that 1-2 punch of being really fucking good at your sport and also just being insanely down to earth and normal in the way that he interacts and in everything that he does, he's pretty much top of the list, I would say.
And still not in the top 10 of the PIP. So
stunning.
Insanity.
Stunning lack of execution by the PGA Tour to not have this guy be one of their biggest stars.
And he just is. Like, you on paper, just because we don't see him on that PIP piece of paper, a lot of P's there. Nice. He's a star. He's a star. Like, he is a lot of people, when you get caught in you almost get stereotyped as the Twitter guy. He probably gets that a lot still. He probably to a degree resents it. Like, oh, this is the guy who's really good on Twitter and he roasts everybody's swings and that's a lot of fun. He's really funny, but he's also just an extremely good golfer who keeps winning golf tournaments. Like, that's who Max Homa actually is. And you're right. He's just a 1-2 punch. And that golf tournament did not look fun to play in. Like, that looked like a horrific, not a fun golf tournament to play in. So to come out on top there, I think, what did Jason Day, he shot a 79 on Saturday, like, and he was leading the tournament when the day started. So, like, it was an interesting tournament to watch. But yeah, Max Homa was a star. We're rooting for him for a couple reasons. One, we're close to him and we do videos with him. And two, hopefully that, bumps the YouTube algorithm and people go watch that 4-man scramble. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's another win for Max Homa. He's just a hell of a player. And it's also, I think it's just the beginning.
When you lose to someone, you can take their wins as your wins as well. At this point, we've lost to a 3-time
transitive property
2022 winner. How good are we that we pushed him to a playoff? We have to be, you look back at how we played Max Homa and then you look at how he's played against the rest of the PGA Tour and it's we're basically number 2, right behind him. So I used to do that with the Islanders essentially won the Stanley Cup the last 2 years with the Lightning. Right. So, it's
the coach.
They just fired their coach. It's fucking it's horrific, and players didn't even know it was happening. Players didn't even know it was happening. It's insane.
So Max won the Fortinet Championship in September, which was the very beginning of this wraparound season. Wins again at the Wells Fargo. He had a top 10 at the Genesis. He at the Players Championship was tied for 13th. He still needs to kind of get going a little bit in the majors. He hasn't had the performances in major championships that he would like. He finished T48 at the Masters. But you have to think, and a lot of what you guys were saying, and Trent talking about how miserable it was to play out there, like him continuing in these scenarios to win. The Genesis, when he won there last year, that's a major championship course. That course is extremely difficult. So for him to win there, and then in these brutal conditions when scoring was not very good, for him to get it done, I think 8 under is what he was. He ended up winning the golf tournament at that. So anytime these guys are single digits under wins the golf tournament, that's pretty much major championship conditions. So you got to think he's going to start to turn it around. His ball striking is off the charts. We saw that in real time. The way that he drove the ball, he hits it dead straight. The way he hits his irons, he hits it dead straight. And when he's got his short game working and his putting working like it was, huge par save putt I think he had on 11. He just can be one of those players that can win any golf tournament. You got to think going into Southern Hills, which is ball striking, PGA Championship, brutal rough, firm greens, and then the U.S. Open. You got to like Max Homa. It'll be kind of a threat going into some of these majors. So awesome for him. Fan of the show, friend of the show, friend of the program, has always been close with us, great with us. So we're, he's a top 5 guy, I would say, that we root for out there.
And his perspective is amazing.
Soon to be father. He's just got a lot. Max Homa's got a lot going on in his life.
His perspective was amazing after the rasp, and he was on Part of My Take this morning, and just the way he talks about winning only $18,000 in his first year and all that stuff, and how he knew going into these rounds when you have a lot of stress and maybe you're not going to win it, nothing's going to be as bad as the first year that he had on tour. which is such a cool way to look at it at it that way. The tour is really lucky that they have guys like Scotty Scheffler and Max Homa, and they're going away from like big egos and like all these like stuffy country club guys that were brought up on like a ton of money that like were legitimately crafted to be PGA Tour pros. Like we're just not seeing that anymore. We're seeing a bunch of just, and I think that's because the game has evolved so much more. Tiger Woods is probably to attribute to all that, where anyone wanted to go out when they were younger to just go learn the game.
You get a lot more athletes now that could play any sport that chose to play golf.
Just regular dudes now are like becoming PGA Tour greats, as opposed to, I just feel like back in the day it was like I don't know. It was just you were made to be a golfer, and all those guys were so uptight, and that was the culture. And now you got Max Homa's up there just being so real, being like, dude, this is a fucking grind up here. He lost how much money that first year on tour, making $18,000 traveling to all the tournaments.
And Kiz told us it's like basically 10 grand a week if you kind of do it like most people do it. So if you don't make at least 20, you're like losing a bunch of money. You know, you don't make 10 or 20 a week, you're losing money. And he made 18,000 all year.
Be a busboy at fucking Borelli's and make like triple that. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it's insanity what these guys go through, but that's their dream. They have aspirations. They know that they can do it. Shout out to Max Homa for knowing that he could pull it off. And he
4.13 million this season.
Fucking awesome. No, he's not making 18,000 anymore, baby.
Shows you too, like the parody of golf. You know, like Tiger Woods brought in all these athletes that a stud of Max Homa's caliber like could drift making $18,000, you know, a year or whatever, because there was so many other really good players where I don't think maybe that was the case back in the day, where there wasn't this many people playing the game of golf, where, you know, he started at 18 grand and now look where he is. And it's pretty amazing that he's accomplished all of that and kept confidence to do so.
Max Homa also had the driver yips like not that long ago. A few years ago, he had the legitimate driver yips. And now that thing is one of the great weapons on the PGA Tour. And he proved that on the 18th hole, you know, when Keegan was kind of floundering a little bit, hitting some weak shots. Max steps up and just roasts a driver down the left center on the 72nd hole of the tournament with a one-stroke lead. That's fucking confidence, baby. That's how you do it. That's how you win golf tournaments. So congratulations to Max. I'm sure we'll have him on again soon. He's just the best. He's the man. He was on Part of My Take, so go check him out there if you would like to get a little bit more Max Homa in your life. Okay, Phil Mickelson. So things are heating up even more so. We're going to the PGA Championship is next week, and the PGA Championship defending champion will be Phil Mickelson. It's unclear. There's been reports that he's been discussing with the CEO of the PGA, Seth Waugh, a buddy of ours, if he's going to play in the event. It'd be crazy if he doesn't play in the fucking tournament. He's the defending champion. And the only reason that he wouldn't be playing is because of his involvement in this, rival Saudi Live league, which they're starting up not in too long. So he submitted the release form, the exemption request form for the PGA Tour. He also applied, to play in the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open, which we talked about last week. Now, from Alan Shipnuck's book, which is coming out next week, he was reportedly $40 million in gambling debt in years when he was making like $40 million a year. So potentially breaking even or even worse, because those are just the things that were reported. So who knows how much else he could have been losing. Obviously, the situation with Billy Walters, is that what his name is? Billy Walters, with him going to jail and the insider trading stuff that he was rumored years ago to be heavily involved in. Everybody else went to jail for that, and he just like didn't. And then again, it was reported that Phil, $40 million in gambling debt, that there's a lot of speculation that the Saudis paid him money up front to essentially back and support publicly and to play in this league, and that he needed that money. He sold his plane not that long ago, and a bunch of people were saying that his plane was like his favorite thing in the world. So clearly must be in some sort of financial situation if you're selling your plane when everyone's saying you're making 40, 50, $60 million a year. Why are you selling your plane? So a lot going on with Phil Mickelson, and a lot more is going to be going on with Phil Mickelson, in that I imagine in the coming days he's going to announce and say something publicly. If you want to come on this podcast, Phil, we'd love to have you. I can't think of a better venue for you to come on and answer questions and explain yourself and where you're at in your life. And then he will either play next week in the PGA Championship as the defending champion, or he'll be just as big of a story because he won't play, and this book from Alan Shipnuck will come out. So there's just a Billy Walters. What did I say? It was Billy Walters?
You said Billy Walters, yeah.
Because then I was going to say, what is that, Barbara Walters' brother?
I was thinking Billy Walsh, but that's an Entourage character.
Yeah, Billy Walsh, crazy guy in that movie or that show. But Billy Walters supposed to be coming out with a tell-all book that'll be a lot about Phil Mickelson later this year as well. So, anyways, a lot going on with Phil per usual. It's only going to get more dramatic and controversial and reports and fucking stories all over the place when he actually says something and returns.
Just a lot of smoke with Phil and the gambling stuff. And if you followed Phil at all throughout his career, it's always been there. And, the Billy Walters thing obviously was a peek into that, a more like official look into it. But you're always seeing clips of Phil coming out like on the golf course. He's betting a guy, he's betting a kid, he's got $100 to hit it around this tree or whatever. And that's obviously small potatoes to $40 million a year. But he's always had that side of him. Everybody's known that about him. And I think it's at least part of why people like him. He's kind of got that gambler's mentality, and he certainly has that on the golf course. So the $40 million thing, obviously that's a big number, and it's hard to wrap your head around that. But it's not a surprise to me that Phil Mickelson was gambling large amounts over, sections of his career, and probably more than that. The most interesting thing with him right now is what he's going to do about the PGA. And I don't know. If you ask me right now if he's going to play or not, I really think it's 50-50. I wonder what he thinks or what he even knows at this moment. Because if he shows up, if you're Phil, and we talked about it during the Masters, you wanted to quote unquote burn the press surrounding it before you go to the tournament where you're the defending champion. Because that's once you return, if he comes back at the PGA, it's not going to be, oh my gosh, here's Phil, this returning PGA defending champion. It's now all going to be about where you been, what's going on with the Saudi stuff. Do you have regrets? Are you going to play on the Saudi tour? You almost want to go to a warm-up tournament before that. We thought it should have been the Masters because Tiger ended up playing, and that was going to be the story pretty much no matter what. And now the more Phil puts this off, it just makes the return, whatever tournament that's going to be, the biggest story no matter what. And it's going to be a weird conversion or a weird meeting if it happens at the PGA, because then it's almost too many Phil storylines, and we're going to have to pick. And I'm pretty sure people are going to pick the negative one about where you've been, what's going on, where you're going to be at moving forward, as opposed to, wow, what a great win at Kiowa last year.
Yeah, I mean, we could get a Billy Payne 2010 Tiger Woods returns to the Masters moment where Billy Payne on Wednesday just eviscerated Tiger and stunned people, being like, he was like, you disappointed all of our children forever. And everybody's like, whoa, dude, that's kind of between he and his family. I don't think that had anything to do with you, Billy Payne. So it could be the PGA of America could be in a very similar situation where I don't know how the fuck they handle it, because if Phil comes back, he's inevitably going to have to do one of those interviews, right? He's going to have to sit down, press conference, take questions for 30, 45 minutes. And it's going to be all the stuff that you just mentioned, Trent. He's going to have to answer them. And then he's also going to be, as a defending champion, someone that everyone is going to have to, a little distraction. We got people cruising by that couldn't have cared less about what I'm doing here, but that he's going to be marketed as the defending champion, right? And the PGA of America, I mean, they don't get all year to drive in their revenue and be relevant, as an organization, as a company. They get one fucking year, 1 week of the year where it's go time. They need ticket sales, they need ratings, they need to drive ad revenue, they need sponsors that they can then in the future talk about how many people paid attention to the PGA Championship. They've got one of the top two biggest names in the last 40 years of golf. That is their defending champion, the oldest major championship winner in history, coming back. So they want to be able to cash in and drive interest that way. So they're going to have to juxtaposition and try to figure out how to navigate these waters too. And they might not even fucking know if the guy's playing yet.
Would juxtapie be the word you were looking for there?
They're going to have to juxtapie.
I don't think juxtapie is a word, but
he goes they're going to have to juxtaposition. Is that correct?
Probably not. But you know what I meant.
Yeah, but it's not. They're going to have to juxtapie.
I don't think I've never heard of
juxtapie is a word.
Come on, guys. You don't think that sounds right?
I don't know.
Juxtapie sounds totally made up.
So, Lurch, if I'm like, oh, you have to go there and juxtapie something.
No, dude. You can't say
No, the only way you can use use it as like, oh, it's a weird juxtaposition. I don't know if there's like another form of it.
I don't think it's a verb. I don't think it's a verb.
He's got to go to that meeting and he's got to juxtapy.
No,
you don't think?
Are you thinking of justify?
Finish the whole sentence, Frankie.
But it's a form.
Finish a sentence with juxtapy.
Juxtapose.
Juxtapose. I knew it was something.
Wow. You're gonna have to juxtapose it, not
You guys were acting like the form of saying juxtaposition in a form of you're about to do it didn't exist.
Yeah, I thought juxtaposition was the only way to use it.
Yeah, juxtapose. Damn, we would have never gotten that one. I don't think. Never.
Who hit that to us? Was that Jake?
No, I just looked it up real quick.
Okay.
Juxtaposition verb. It says juxtapose.
Okay.
To place different things side by side as to compare them or contrast them or to create an interesting effect.
I think Phil's going to play in the PGA Championship.
I do too.
I do too. And I also want to, formally invite Phil to Fixing Frankie. Invite's wide open. We'll change the name to PHs if you want. The whole thing. So I just wanted to get that out there. Okay. Second of all.
You're going to invite him to that? Oh, okay, so we got a double invite. He's invited to the podcast and to Fixing Frankie.
100%.
I mean, if we're putting invites out there, we're going to be doing Breaking 90 rounds if he wants to come
exactly,
hang. Do that. That'd be great too.
Exactly. So, no, he's going to play in the PGA, I think. The video of him swinging and I know that this book is coming out, but there's no better time to do it than when Tiger Woods is there. I get that he's never going to be able to get away from it, but just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Get there. Answer the hard questions. A lot of this stuff's going to be somber Phil stuff, I feel like. I'm going through a lot of stuff at home. I've lost a lot of money. This has been a tough time in my life. You guys have seen all the rumors. It's going to be a lot of that stuff where he's going to try and, play that card. But just fucking get through it, man. Just rip the Band-Aid off and go play golf. In 2 weeks, no one's going to care about it. They're not.
The thing is, what are the answers to these questions that people are going to ask, right? If they're going to be certainly some Saudi-based questions, what relationship or agreement does he have with them? That could be a big reason why he's avoiding all this shit because, yeah, it's easy to say, just show up and, tuck your tail between your legs and be like, I was wrong, I did this, and I agree with that. But if, on the other side of that, if your answers are going to further infuriate the media and the general public, I would understand why he's avoiding the media.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing about Phil. We got to talk about Play Golf Myrtle Beach in a second. But Phil is very good at this. Traditionally, this has been one of Phil's strong suits, right? Tiger Woods is not. Tiger Woods sits up there. It's always awkward and feels really forced and strained. Every presser he's pretty much ever done, except for a few. And every time they're not that strained, we sit here for an hour and talk about how awesome it was. And we're like, wow, Tiger was smiling and he actually had a normal conversation with somebody. Holy shit. Phil Mickelson, this is what he does. So Phil, it's almost like anyone else that would be the lowest point where I actually feel like for Phil, him facing the music and going through this press conference, there's a chance with Phil that it could go well enough that it would be considered part of the climb back up. It would be considered almost like vaulting him out of it a little bit because now it's all hearsay and speculation and really negative speculation. And there's really no other side that Phil Mickelson is presenting that is allowing him to sustain or help or improve his image. It's just constantly getting battered and punched and destroyed by everybody, and no one's really standing up for him, and he's the only one that can really stand up for himself. And again, he's usually pretty good at that. He's usually pretty good at talking his way through and sweet talking the media and making them laugh and all the bullshit. And I think that if he gets out there and does this presser, it would be considered part of the way of him rehabbing and not necessarily be a brutal, right? When Tiger went through the pressers and stuff were actually a really brutal part of it. We were like, oh, he's actually admitting to it. Holy shit. Whereas the Phil stuff, you're right, Trent, that you don't know what he's going to say and what he's actually going to admit to, but everybody's kind of assuming the worst right now of he's in bed with these horrific regimes that are committing all kinds of atrocities, and he's got horrific gambling debt with bad people. And if he goes out there and just kind of gives decent answers and justifications for stuff, I feel like it could actually help him more than hurt him right now.
Yeah. If there's a guy to do it, it's him. If he almost has to look in the mirror before he goes out there and be like, I'm Phil Mickelson. This is being charming and charismatic is kind of his thing. the rug has been pulled out from under him for a lot of reasons in the last few months. But like, yeah, I agree. If he handles it the right way, which he has the tools to do so, I think it could be a good start, or it could be a complete disaster, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Man, what a storyline!
That his second to last most recent tweet from February 11th was at me, where he said, "I'll let you handle this one, Riggs." When we were kind of going back and forth about, I think that was the Charlie Hoffman thing, when he had the Charlie Hoffman comment about the tour, which that's going to lead us to Sergio Garcia. First, we got to get to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the golf capital of the world. More than 70 courses, sandy white beaches, endless off the course entertainment options. I've had several folks come up to me and say, "Hey, I know it's something that you guys are in partnership with. You got a deal. You guys work closely with Play Golf Myrtle Beach." And they're like, "But I've been there many times, and it is exactly what you guys are saying. There's stuff for everybody. It's fun. It's not stuffy. It's not some of these places where you get a little bit nervous to go there. It's got stuff for literally everybody. Different kinds of golf courses, munis, oceanfront courses. Same with the lodging. They got some oceanfront lodging. They got pretty standard Airbnbs and condos and hotels you can go stay at. And they got a million different golf courses. I mean, the golf capital of the world with over 70 golf courses and the sandy white beaches. You can do all kinds of good stuff. They got Golf Digest top 100 courses. Package options include free replay rates. You just go visit Myrtle Beach, myrtlebeachgolf.com to shop golf packages for the popular fall golf season in Myrtle Beach. We love Myrtle Beach. We're going to be there later this year, fellas.
Dude, I love Myrtle Beach so much that I'll tell you guys this, and I'm not going to release the video because there's too many people in my family, and they wouldn't want to be on video. But there's a video. A family member bought a house in Myrtle Beach like 8 years ago, and we were all doing things like, when are we going to get the invite to the house? And essentially, we did this music video. It's very embarrassing, but we did a music video to this song called Myrtle Beach by like Sonny Ledford. If you go on Spotify and listen to this thing, it's just Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach. God damn, I love Myrtle Beach. And like we did like this fun little family thing, like taking videos, whatever. And it's always been in my head. That's how much I love this place, is that I did a music video, like an old school YouTube music video with my family, singing our love for Myrtle Beach. It's like, I'm gonna get me a beer when I get there. It's like a rap. It's fucking horrific. But I love that place so much. I cannot wait to go now for work and like actually experience it and get to go golf down there and the whole thing. I'm very excited. Myrtle Beach has had a very, a nice place in my heart for the past 10 years.
Amazing spot. We love Myrtle Beach. Can't wait to get there and explore it more. We had a few days there, for the Barstool Classic like a month or so ago, but cannot wait to do the boys trip there. So myrtlebeachgolf.com, shop packages for the fall golf season and enjoy it. It's the golf capital of the world. On a very similar note to what we're talking about with Phil, Sergio Garcia with yet another moment where he snapped. Got a ruling that he did not like from the PGA Tour. He was caught on mic following a ruling at the Wells Fargo Championship saying, "I can't wait to leave this tour." Later, a bunch of outlets reported that Sergio is looking to play in the first Live Golf event in London coming up. Not a good look for Sergio, who, we have one interaction with Sergio. We loved it. We had a nice little race for him. But if we're going to be honest and objective on this show, not a great look for Sergio Garcia.
So I found his comment interesting for one reason, because he's making it seem like I'm leaving this tour. Like that. Those were the words that he said. Like I'm on the PGA Tour right now, but I'm gonna go play on this other tour, and I'm not. It insinuated that he's not gonna be on the PGA Tour anymore. And I guess for me, like that's always been the question, right? With Jay Monahan and Greg Norman and the whole thing. Like if you are a PGA Tour player right now and you go into an agreement with Live, are you then banned from the PGA Tour? Like Greg Norman's thing, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, has been, I'm trying to just include more tournaments. I'm not saying one tournament or the other tournament, you have to pick one. I'm saying, let's just have more golf tournaments, essentially. And what Sergio is kind of saying, not to read too much into it, but he's saying, I'm going to go play on this tour. I'm leaving this tour, and I'm mad at these rules officials, so fuck you guys. I'm going to go play on this tour. Am I reading too much into that, or is that kind of what's going on with Sergio?
It's a weird comment from him because of that. I mean, it's that the whole premise is that you don't have to leave the PGA Tour, right? And
Right.
now he's basically, I mean, his comment of I can't wait to leave this tour. You know, Charlie Hoffman's comments from the Waste Management when he was like, this tour, you know, can't wait to not have to deal with this. Not that stuff is super anti PGA Tour, and I think that's the type of rhetoric and type of approach that will not allow the Live Golf League to really succeed, because it's going to drive the tour to be very abrasive and not allow anything. So yeah, that it's good for us. It's good drama. It's great talking points. I mean, it's going to, if you have these things butting heads and you got the Lee Westwoods of the world and Sergio Garcia is like now being in a position. And I will say that a lot of like reporters and stuff have been pretty good at getting this out of them, where you're pitting the two things against each other hardcore, makes it a lot more interesting.
But I would even say that Greg Norman wouldn't love those Sergio Garcia comments, because whatever his plan ultimately is, right now he wants it to be like, all right, we're going to have just a cohesive, more golf tournaments for everybody. That's the plan. So for Sergio to be like, fuck the PGA Tour, you guys, your rules officials aren't treating me right, I'm going to go to Live. Greg Norman's got to be like, maybe that's our end goal, but right now we're trying to not make it be butt heads.
What's your guys' personal opinion? You think of Sergio Garcia, he plays in the Live Golf event, bad guy?
Bad guy.
What do you mean bad guy?
That's a big question.
Does it make him a bad guy?
Yeah, just like, does it immediately just tarnish Sergio Garcia's whole career and legacy and just how you think about him just because he plays in that golf event?
A little bit, not a little bit. Yeah.
It certainly tarnishes his legacy. I think that's undeniable.
Yeah, he's got an interesting legacy regardless. Like when we met him, it was the best experience I've ever, he was the man. Could have been nicer, could have been more fun to be around.
Right. It's interesting because if you ask the same thing about like Adam Scott, right? Like, I don't know that my answer is as strong, because it's part of like Sergio already has a little bit of a whiny, like kind of shitty reputation at times. I mean, remember, I think it was in the Saudi Arabian event a few years ago when he was like slamming his club in the bunker like a fucking lunatic. So it's like, he's kind of already got a little bit of a shaky reputation.
What do you think, Frankie?
I don't know. I think as names come out, it's going to be more difficult to pin each guy as being like a backer of the Saudi regime as opposed to a guy that's just trying to make money in a golf tournament. I think at some point it will turn into that, where it's like not every single guy has the same viewpoints that like Phil said to Alan Shipnuck about like, yeah, they do slaughter gay people, but it's also about leverage with the PGA Tour. Like, I just don't think it's as fair to pin, because I think it's just Phil's comments and like all of the stuff that's coming out about this golf league. I feel like you sign. I guess it's their choice, but like, do they sign up for all those comments by signing up for the golf tournament?
My response to that is, when that starts to happen, and if it does, then you give the Saudis what they want, where it gets muddled to the point where it's like, oh well, not all these guys can be bad guys, and then you're just saying that this golf league, all right, now it's just another golf league, and we've got all these guys joining, and that I'm not super in love with. And I know when you ask that question, Frankie, I get what you're saying, and it is probably more nuanced than we're making it. But like, I don't know, I do fear that the more people that join, it moves the conversation from, are these all bad guys, to, oh well, then if all these guys are doing it, then it's just another golf league, and then that's kind of the sport washing that everyone's been talking about, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. And, Lee Westwood's interview last week, if folks didn't say that, the reporter presses him. I think it was on Sky Sports. They press him pretty good about it, basically saying, hey, you're going to, you're clearly one of the front men now that's going to play in the Saudi backed league. The regime has X, Y, and Z history. Sport washing is a very clear thing that, most believe they are trying to do. By playing, you are helping them do that. How do you feel about that? And he made a lot of the points, Frankie, that I think a lot of people can see, which is like, I'm doing what's best for me. And he justified that by saying, they have Formula One over there. They do WWE wrestling over there. They've done boxing over there. And, the reporter's point is like, yeah, that's sport washing. Like what you're describing right now is precisely what they tried to accomplish, which is they are trying to distract and make you think that their way of operating as a regime is normalized because they go, yeah, we have all these normal things over here, and that distracts from people pressing them and people driving very loud and aggressive opposition to what they're doing, and people just kind of turn their head a little bit, be like, oh yeah, they got pretty normal culture over there, when in reality they have horrific atrocities that they're committing. And by participating in them, you are saying, I'm just going to take money and I'm going to be part of what they're trying to use to help their image, when in reality they're not changing and not doing what they need to do to protect their not just image but their actual regime, which is to change their ways. And so I think most rational human beings can understand both perspectives. You can understand that, like, well, in theory, I could justify every regime as terrible to some degree, and I'm just trying to make money for my family. And I do think you're going to get more negative feedback towards players that already have questionable reputations at times. And I think that that's why I brought up Adam Scott. Like, I think a guy like Adam Scott, I could see him skirting it pretty easily. People are like, oh yeah, Adam Scott, he's Australian, and like it makes more sense for him, when that's just not fair, because we should be ridiculing everybody equally if that's what we're going to do.
The biggest chip that the Saudis have is that what they're ultimately doing is pitting whether like an individual against a group, right? Like if you are an individual who, like if you're a Sergio Garcia, who are you going to think about at the end of the day? Are you going to think about the whether Sergio's going to prosper, or about sort of it's the greater good, and it's a bit abstract. Like you're just kind of being like, oh, is it the greater good, or am I just going to focus on what makes Sergio Garcia more successful and prosperous? And over the course of time, human history, an individual is always going to think about themselves as opposed to what's going on in the abstract greater good. So that's kind of where it falls. And I you look at a guy like Rory, and it seems like he thinks about the abstract greater good in a situation like this, as opposed to how is Rory McIlroy going to make more money. Now, Rory has like $400 million, so he is in a position to do that. But I do think it comes down to individual versus a group, and people are always going to be like, at the end of the day, I just got to do what's best for me. And that's what happens.
And I do think, agreed. And I do think if you were Joe Schmo from off the street and you're making 75 grand a year, and then you're offered from the Saudi league to potentially make $5, $15, $25 million, it's like, I don't know that a lot of people would really hate on you for doing that, being like, yep, I get that they got a bad history, but like, okay, I'm going from that to that. Whereas if you're Rory McIlroy and you've already made $400 million, I think it's much easier for you as Rory McIlroy to be like, I don't need that extra money. I'm fine. I think it was Robert McIntyre from the European Tour who had some quotes in the last couple of days that came out that were exactly like that, where he was like, at some level, money's money. I'm a happy, healthy person. I got a good family and I make good amount of money. I'm not going to go over there because I don't need to. So everybody's going to have a different kind of threshold on that level. But, yes, there's my point is that, like, if you look at it from the two extremes of both sides, there's clearly a way, I think, where you could justify it. But if you're already worth tens of millions of dollars and you're going over there to make a few more million, and you clearly have been presented that it is sport washing a horrific regime that's full of atrocities, committing atrocities all the time, it gets into a pretty dicey area, I think, ethically.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, and they're in like a tough spot because like you go back to Max Homa making $18,000 a year, they could go out and recruit a bunch of those like young up and coming kids. But what they're looking for is people with a brand already to like effectively complete, sport washing or whatever you want to call it. And so they need somebody that's made it to some certain degree to fall and bring them on board. Because you can't, if they go get a bunch of college prospects and pay them a bunch, that's effectively not going to do anything, I feel like, in their eyes and the human eye of what they're like, trying to cover up or make, feel okay, if that makes any sense at all.
Sergio goes to this league. You think he gets invited to the Champions Dinner at Augusta National?
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's a good question, but yeah.
But I think he's a players champion. I don't know that he's allowed to play in the Players Championship.
I also
You
think
know?
like based on what's out there right now, he gets invited, but then he's basically tying himself in. And if things were to change, new information gets released, I could totally see Augusta pulling that like carpet out from underneath him.
I just think they
It's a
celebrate
good-
their.
it's a
I think
good
they
question.
celebrate their champions so much that like I honestly think you could murder someone and still they'd like give you 24 hours to go to the dinner.
Oof.
Like
I don't know about
Yeah,
It's
I think
just
you're-
like-
I think you're jumping in a little too far.
I know that's
there.
an
the
extreme
defense.
example.
it's an extreme example. I'm just saying like that.
How
crew
obvious is it
so,
that you murdered someone? Is it like, do we?
Are
Is
you
it a
just
little bit of
saying
a gray
that?
area,
because
or
of-
what do you
I think it's a gray area. I think
Okay.
it's
Was it like a jury of 12 of your peers convicted you of that, or are you?
right.
I don't think you'd be able to go there anyway.
Right, exactly.
You're
You
right.
can't leave jail.
I'm just saying that place, you know, they take that shit pretty seriously. Once you're in that crew, it's like it's a crew for life. It's blood brothers is what I mean.
No, I agree with
What's-
that. I think it's more pitting the PGA Tour against them, right? It makes it a lot more interesting, and credit to what the PGA Tour has done, right? Because we were just talking about, puts these people in a tough spot. Well, the tour kind of came out and said, no, it doesn't. Like, we're offering you all of these amazing things. We're putting more money into the prize pools. We have more for the PIP. We have more for, your pension and your retirement forever. Like, we're making you all millionaires. If you're a big star in the game, or you're doing more to become a big star on our tour, you're making a ton of money from us. So you're not in a tough spot. It's kind of what the PGA Tour has done, which is not clearly foolproof because guys are going over there, but they've tried. They're done. They've come out looking better and better, I would say, every week, it seems like.
Yeah.
We talk about money. Truebill is one of the great things, one of the great applications I ever downloaded on my phone. How many subscription services are you paying for each month? Do you even know? Truebill is the smartest way to manage your finances. A lot of finances talk on this show. You're going to want, you're probably not on the level that we're talking about with this tour and that tour and how much money these guys are making. So what's going on in your little app there and your little bank account, your credit card, that's going to matter. On average, people save up to $720 per year with Truebill. This app's great. I mean, it's automated. You plug in your financial information. It says, hey, you don't really use this subscription. You don't use that subscription. You're paying for X. I bet you don't want to be. At least look into it. Gives you these notifications, these pops up, it's flag stuff. We love it.
Yeah, it's great for a guy like me who will just. I'm a big sign up for the trial, the free trial, and then be like, all right, I'm going to remember to cancel this once I'm done with it because I just want to use the free trial. Then I just forget about it. And I don't want to go through the whole process of you got to cancel, you got to unsubscribe. Truebill does that for you. You just go through it, you give them your information, and it lists everything that you pay for each month. And if you see one that you're like, oh yeah, I did that for a specific reason, but I'm not actively using it every day or every week or every month, let's get rid of that. They do it for you. They go and do the legwork, which is great because that's the part. That's just some subscription services make it purposely difficult to stop because they know that a guy like me is just gonna be like, this is too much. I'll just pay the $9 that you guys are charging me, so I don't have to deal with this. Truebill, you click it. I'm not using it. Boom, they take care of it. I'm probably saving $85 to $100 a month thanks to Truebill at least.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. This last week I spent a lot of money. I had like a big dinner that I put on my card. Everyone Venmo'd me, so like you don't realize like how much you're putting on your card. I got a weekly spending report from Truebill. My last notification was 25 minutes ago. Hi Frankie, you spent $1,100 last week. That's 104% more than your normal over the last month. Like they're doing all of these calculations, and like if you're trying to budget and you're trying to move into a new house, all this stuff, like it makes a really big difference. And it tells you I have so many bills now it would make your fucking head spin. I don't even know where all these things are going. Electric, gas, all this shit is just popping up. And it tells me, Frank, you have 7 bills due this week. It's like, okay, now we just know. And you go down, it itemizes everything. It puts it all in categories, whether it's entertainment, it's fucking utilities, it's mortgage. It's crazy. So it's really been huge. And I honestly don't know how we would get through what we're doing right now as like young idiots that just bought a house, like how we would get through like paying for all this stuff.
Makes me feel way better knowing that I have it, and makes me feel really idiotic about myself before I had it. Do not fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/4. Go right now, truebill.com/4. It could save you thousands a year. We use it. We love it. That is true, fact, real, raw. Go right now, truebill.com/4. It could save you thousands a year. One thing is for certain, the Saudi League is not going away. And
no.
Greg Norman months ago, when he said, we are going to power through, we are going to carry golf events, whether Rory McIlroy says we're dead in the water or not, he was right. He was absolutely right. There's going to be a tournament that comes up at the end of the month.
Is that when it is?
Is it the end of next month? Live? I think is it late June? Live Golf Tour schedule?
Might be late June.
Ooh, they have a website. I've never been to their website. Just got real. What a website. Teams and players. June 9th to the 11th. So that will be, I believe, the week before the U.S. Open. There will be a live golf event, which will be the first one. It's going to be in London. So things are just going to happen, man. By that time, we're going to know who's in. We're going to know who's out. We're going to know who the PGA Tour allowed, didn't allow, what they did, what they said, what they threatened. There's just too many leaks now. I mean, not too many. There's the right amount because it's entertaining for us, but there's leaks all over the place. So like if the PGA Tour tells one person this in terms of their exemption request, we're just all going to know about it. We're going to find out about it and how that's going down. And like you were talking about at the very beginning, when you get these seismic shifts in what's going on, whether it's a blizzard or some drama or whatever, it is always it's exhilarating knowing something seismic is happening. There's just going to be a rival to the PGA Tour events that occur, whether big names are going to play in it or not, who the fuck knows? But that is going to be something, again, that has never really happened, at least not in our lifetime, that people will break down and talk about forever.
Certainly something that only the PGA Tour has going on right now. In terms of the entire sports world. I know we've talked about the XFL and there's the USFL, which is going on, which I'll just see sometimes on a Saturday night. They'll just USFL games are just running. There's football going on right now. They start at 10 p.m. and they run on Saturday nights. It's really something. But no other league has gotten the media scrutiny or the attention that this Saudi Golf League has in relation to the PGA Tour. And yeah, it's certainly a storyline. I mean, it's something that we're going to continue to talk about because I don't know if it's necessarily a real threat to the PGA Tour in terms of this thing's going to take over, but it certainly is a threat in the sense that players are going to go over there and it's going to force the PGA Tour to make a decision on those guys. And that's super interesting.
It's as close of a threat as any league has ever had to having another league just come in our lifetime, at least. I don't know what it used to be with the NBA and the ABA, and was that a merger or was that a takeover? I don't know what happened back in the day, but in my lifetime, certainly I've never seen anything like this. Can you imagine just I don't know, Russia at this point, who's a pretty bad regime, just taking back all the players and everyone just going back there and just I don't know, Ovechkin goes there and then fucking Sidney Crosby's yeah, I'm going to go over to fucking Russia. We'd be what is happening right now? This is fucking, are we going to start watching Russian hockey games?
It's also just around us. London, Trump Bedminster, Chicago, Miami, Boston, Portland. So it's not
F1 was in Miami last week, to their point. It's all crazy
fans
money.
Going to Trump Bedminster, who's going to be there? It's a very real... It's not so much over there. It's over there in terms of that's where the dollars are coming from, but it's very much in the States and here that they'll be playing these events. It'll be really interesting the way it pans out. They're trying to make it probably as easy as possible on the players. And it's not so much across the pond as is just in the PGA Tour's backyard where these events are going to take place.
Yeah. And it's, they've got some pretty big names. Now they're all a little bit past their prime, right? But Sergio Garcia, there was a time where Sergio Garcia was the biggest up and coming name in golf. He was 19 years old doing the scissor kick, taking on Tiger Woods. There's a time where he against Tiger Woods was the storyline where they were chirping him at Bethpage Black about having the yips and he couldn't pull the club back. He was a megastar. He's been one of the biggest stars in the history of the Ryder Cup, Sergio Garcia. He won the Masters. He is an enormous name, and you have him being I can't wait to leave this tour to join another tour backed by some horrific regime that's committing atrocities. You got Phil Mickelson, who again is 50, but he's still the defending PGA champion. He's still Phil Mickelson. He's still probably the second biggest, third biggest earner in the world of golf. It's probably Tiger Woods, Rory / Phil. Probably have to be right around each other in terms of how much they bring in endorsements and everything else. So it'd be one thing because the XFL doesn't have like Aaron Rodgers going and playing in the XFL, right? Like this would be, and it's not quite Aaron Rodgers level name, maybe, but it's kind of fucking close. Like Phil Mickelson, Sergio are pretty big names. So the fact that they're able to draw that they're going to have events like Bryson was very heavily rumored to be one of the guys over there. He very realistically could be over there playing at some point. And there's probably going to be names that are up on that level that are playing over there. So it is just going to be unprecedented time to watch an event series in golf, professional golf, that rivals the actual PGA Tour, which is the only thing that's been known for a long time. And then as that's all going on, we have Tiger Woods returning. We have actual PGA Tour events going on. We have major championships happening. So there's just a lot going on. We've got big events going on. I mean, we're going to be at the PGA all week next week. Has that even sunk in yet to me, to anybody? We're just going to be in Tulsa?
No, I haven't. I have not thought about that. But it's coming next week.
I've got to get through Scottsdale. I'm going to a bachelor party Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Got to somehow make a Sunday night flight, midnight flight to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm coming in hot on Monday, real hot. Don't piss me off Monday morning. I'm going to be in a bad mood. Hopefully we get to see Tiger Woods. That put me in a good mood. So yeah, I just got to get through this weekend, and then it's just go time. And we also tonight have Colin Morikawa coming out for YouTube. So tonight, YouTube, Colin Morikawa, One Club Challenge. It's going to be an amazing video. Some crazy stuff happens after the video for if he wins, if he doesn't win. We did a little bit of a prize for the winner, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would call it a punishment for the losers.
A punishment for the losers, a great way to put it.
Could be maybe the best clip of the entire series is this little bit that happens at the end of this whole thing. So you're right. People need to check that out. Foreplay Golf on YouTube. Colin Morikawa, one of the biggest stars in the game. We haven't mentioned his fucking name yet. That guy's a stud. There's so many studs in the world of golf. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, PGA Championship, we're going to be there. Scottsdale's a hell of a place for a bachelor party. That place is, I mean, I obviously live there, but when you live somewhere, it's just like in New York. When you live in New York, you're not necessarily raging all the time. You kind of just live like a pretty normal person. When you go to Scottsdale to visit, especially like Old Town and all that, I mean, it's chaos. That place is fucking chaos. It's like almost lawless out there.
It's nuts. I mean, like the plan that we have set out, we have like 14 guys. It's just going to be, it's like survive till Sunday is really what it is. We've got like that Maya pool party thing going on the weekend, which I heard is just like not a real place. There's like, you can like rent a beach in the middle of the pool or something like that. It's like $30,000. My buddies are like somewhat like thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not coming to that. It's just not coming to that, or else I have to sell the house. So it's either we go to the pool party for one day or I sell the house. What's your guys' decision? So yeah, it's just it's gonna be a crazy time out there. Scottsdale's like a mini Vegas from what I'm seeing. All the reservations you have to make, the dinners are all sold out. It's like the clubs are insane. Like I've never seen that version of Scottsdale. We've only seen the golf courses, so that's gonna be pretty interesting.
You're gonna have a great time. Scottsdale's awesome. Just be safe, be smart. It's one of those places you can get out of hand quickly.
Frankie, what role do you think you play in a bachelor party? Because there's a lot of different guys on a bachelor party. Which role do you think you fill?
It's actually funny to say that. My buddy Rob, we call him Big Rob. You've heard many stories about Rob on this show.
Love Rob.
One of the greatest people on the planet.
Your favorite buddy of ours, and I've never met him.
Yeah, so Rob is a scene. He sends out a scouting report based off the last bachelor party going into the new one. It's a pre-scouting report, and he does it like a team, where it's like it's almost like he's the general manager, and how certain guys are utility players and other guys are stepping up, and one guy was a rookie of the year and he's getting a big contract. And for me, I missed the last one. And he basically said that, like, I'm a wild card. You don't know what player you're going to get when he wakes up. He can get on a hot streak, or he can get real cold real quick, meaning I was the first person to leave my own engagement party because I got too drunk. Like, I took way too many shots, and they had to carry me out. And I left at 11:55. I was puking. And they all stayed until 4 a.m. So it's like, you don't know what Frankie you're going to get. Like, are you going to get the longevity fun one, or are you going to get the one that's just gone all night? So I'm a wild card for sure, but it was so funny to like watch him break down. Like one guy like hit for the cycle in the last one, and he's like, "Can he keep up this streak?" Like he's Shohei Ohtani. He's hitting on both sides of the ball right now. He's pitching. He's hitting. He's just scoring runs for the team. Like another guy's like not. He's not afraid to steal the bases if he has to. It's just like it's so fun. But he could get thrown out if he just jumps too early. Like it's very, very funny.
That's a guy you need too. The guy who assigns the roles of the
big
Bachelor
time.
party.
That is also a guy that is a miserable at work guy. That's like, I'm going to sit here in my free time and I'm going to break down the scouting report for the next Bachelor party. Let's go. He's been thinking about that at his desk for fucking months.
He sent it out with like emojis. The whole thing was fucking perfect. So yeah, I think my role is just going to be to survive, honestly. And I think for me, if I stay away from shots, which is really tough on like straight vodka or straight like tequila shots, stuff like that just happens. You get bottles, people are ripping shots, they're drinking fucking mixed drinks. It happens. I'm more of a beer guy. I can get drunk. I can have fun time with beer. That's why you can see the belly. When I start ripping shots, like the day's over for me. Also, I think a big thing is like eating. I know Lurch is a big eater. So like eating in the morning and making sure that you have a nice base. That's how I don't get sick. And
water. Water's huge.
Water.
Sneak in water, especially in Scottsdale. It's dry, hot. Just sneak in. When even if somebody orders that fucking round of shots, just look over the bartender and be like, "Can I just get a tall glass of ice water and just pound it?" That makes a huge difference.
The video of me with Dave when I was dropping all the grapes in Vegas, I just couldn't. I couldn't hold on to any of the. I couldn't hold on to any of the grapes. I just was so hungover.
White as a ghost.
White as a ghost. We had drank from 4:00 in the afternoon the day before until 4 a.m. and then we woke up to go to a pool party. And like I was literally I was on 1 hour of sleep, which was the most disgusting sleep of all time. And I'm holding on to these grapes, but I hadn't eaten anything. Like that's how I get to that level. If you see me dead, it's because I hadn't sat down and ate like a grilled chicken sandwich or something. I need to do that. That's the biggest thing for me to survive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Smart.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it's hard because when there's boozing, you just want to eat like greasy, disgusting food. But
chicken fingers.
if you mix in like a good like salad or something in there. Or even like a
turkey
club
sandwich,
turkey, something that's like decently
bacon,
healthy.
Tomato. You're like,
it makes a huge difference.
Is there science behind that?
Definitely.
There is. Like, so you actually need food to soak up the alcohol so that your brain doesn't get
bread is
drunk.
Great. Like if you get some bread.
How does that work?
I don't think the yeast. I don't know. I have no idea.
How does Advil work?
Just could be wrong, you know.
How does Advil work? If you have a little boo boo on your pinky, you suck that thing down, it just goes away. It's all in the brain.
I don't know. That's what I think sometimes. If
the nerves.
If it's like a placebo effect.
No, it can't be placebo. Dude.
I think that's probably
Come
wrong.
on, bro. Come on,
what is
dude.
Advil's just selling us sugar pills? No, but I think there is a part of it where you're like, oh, I'm actively trying to solve the problem that I have, and that helps. But I'm sure I don't know what it is. What is it like?
It's just like, how does it know if
acetone?
It goes? If you have a headache or if your foot like is bruising and you just rolled your ankle, why is it like how did they invent something that you just take a pill and it fixes both those things at different moments? You know what I mean? Like why wouldn't it be like a shot like into the actual spot?
Does it have to do with inflammation? I feel like inflammation's a big word.
So does everything like come down?
Everything. I think a lot of your body can get inflamed.
I think that's right.
So if I have a boo-boo on my arm and it's inflamed, I take an Advil. My whole body is, I'm trying to think of the word, de-inflaming?
I don't know. I'm so out of my depth, I don't know.
Yeah, I've always thought that the Advils of the world and such are some of the most magical things I've ever seen. Like you take that and it just goes into your body, finds where you're having pain and just stops it from hurt. I mean,
it's stunning, dude. It goes into your stomach.
Is it a robot you're putting in there? It doesn't make sense.
Isn't your stomach filled with like acid and it just like kills whatever went in there? Like, how does it get into how does it get into like the back of your head where you have like that throbbing headache?
I don't know. That's amazing.
How'd they figure that out? How'd they like know it? Yeah, it's working.
That's why if you invented Advil, you're worth just trillions of dollars. Just trillions.
You're looking good. You're looking really good.
Because I do think they could sell sugar pills and people would be like, this stuff is still good. It's still working. Because
you don't need to
has
join
have a big effect.
Any sketchy leagues if you invented Advil. You're fine, dude. You're fine. You're sailing off into the sunset. Another thing that if you invented, thank you, is Roman. Roman began this show mentioning some sexual stuff, some desires. If you are lucky enough to have been in a situation where you're having a sexual encounter, congratulations to you, first of all. It's nice. It's a big part of a primal part of our existence. But another thing is you want it to last for a long time. Roman swipes are the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting. They do not require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging. Each swipe packet small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. Get Roman.com/Fore. You get $10 off swipes when you choose a monthly plan. We like long sex, right? We like just lasting there for a while, getting after it, having some fun, right? Fun
More
time.
fun the better.
Yeah.
Rolling around on the sheets, get Roman.com/Fore to get $10 off swipes.
Roll around in the hay. You guys ever hear that one, or is that a Midwest?
Yeah, roll around in the hay.
Hitting the speed bags.
Going heels to Jesus.
Heels to Jesus, pants around the ankles.
Zombieland. Any other ones? What are some other
twisting the whistle?
ways
That's
to
like on your
say
own.
having sex but not having sex?
We're
tapped out, I think.
Putting the icing on the cake.
More, but I think we keep this a PG
God,
show.
so many more.
It's an R-rated ad read.
It is R-rated.
I'm looking. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, there's an R. Can contain R-rated content.
It's not
That's what
PG.
it says.
This isn't a Disney movie.
No,
I
it's
can't
just
think of another one.
Foreplay Golf Podcast. All right, we're gonna go quick. My computer is at. Let me look at this. My computer's at 4%, so I could just disappear at any second here. So if that happens, maybe I'll just jump back in on my phone. But
Make
no outlets outside.
Getting a release.
Did you just look that one up?
Make Whoopi's a pretty good one. Horizontal refreshment. What the fuck?
Afternoon Delight.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Afternoon Delight.
That song is about sex.
Do the deed of the darkness.
Hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. I think that's Austin
Yes.
Powers.
What is it?
Hop on the good foot and do the bad thing.
Talk to your mother with that mouth.
Okay. This is one from Twitter, from the gallery, Foreplay at BarstoolSports.com. What is the best golf tip you've ever received? Obviously, it was the chair sit thing for me last summer, but I would say currently for me right now, Jake Owen, actually, at the Barstool Classic in Nashville a couple weeks ago, told me the only thing you have to do is just make sure you turn as much as you can. Turn your shoulders as much as you can. And I just started thinking about that, and I started hitting the golf ball a lot better. So obviously, we all always have different stuff going on. My new thing is I just try to feel my backswing. I'm literally just turning my shoulders as much as humanly possible and then let it go. And it's just been working. Anybody got anything going on right now? I know Frankie's been going through
Oh yeah, Frankie.
I've got a thing on my glove written from Dr. Brett McCabe, and the word just says process. It's in the blue ink right up my thumb. And for me, I genuinely think under my thumb. I genuinely think that the process is the most important part of what you're about to do as an amateur golfer, because we're all not going to perfect our swings. We're all not going to have the perfect, like every time the club's going to hit the ground at the same spot. We're not going to have the same tempo. We're not going to be perfect every single time. Like our technique is never going to reach a level where we're going to be professional golfers. It's just going to be our technique. As sad as that is, every one of our swings, no matter how much work we do, is still going to be our swing in some aspect. So how do we get to our swing every single time? And I genuinely think now that I've seen the light from Dr. Brett McCabe, it's process. It's like doing the same thing going into each shot, specifically on the practice range. Like, don't just go up there. Like, dude, Lurch is a non-process guy. He steps up to the ball with putts, and he just fucking looks and, like, he's over it and just rips the putt. Or, like, on the range, he'll rip, like, 9 fucking shots in like, 2 seconds, which I do also. If you went to Brett McCabe, you'd be like, man, this guy – because then when Lurch dials in a scramble, he stands behind the ball, and we're like, Lurch, this is you, man. 3-wood, right to left. You're going to curl this thing in 260. You're going to hit the front of the green. You, like, are behind the ball. You step up with, like, confidence. You step over the ball. You're looking at the target, and you rip it. It's like I've seen so many times where we all just step up to a ball and hit a golf ball. It's just like you're not going to do anything spectacular when you just do it, like, off the top of your head. It's got to be, like, a moment each time. And that takes so much fucking pressure to remember to do that throughout 80 shots in a round or whatever. But you have to do it. Think about what pros go through before they hit a golf shot. It's like 2 minutes of speaking.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll definitely fade away. Or energy. If I'm not well fed, you can see me going off into just la la land. So like, I need to be well fed. And then another phrase that I use is just a little bit of focus goes a long way. Just a little bit. And I will say, usually when I'm on the range, though, I'm just trying to loosen up the body. Just like pulling the club back, feeling your back pop just a second, and then, feeling like you're comfortable to actually like let a driver fly by the time you get on the first tee. But certainly on the putting green, I'm like, let's just send this thing over there. Because I honestly think where I fail too is just, I don't even think I believe that I can't hit a straight putt. So like, why even like, I'm a generalist in terms of I'll just hit it over there. Hopefully I pull, push, or hit the straight putt on the right line and just get the speed right is kind of the goal of my putting strategy these days. But hopefully I'll find a coach and we'll fix that. So try to figure that out the next couple of weeks of getting
your boy. That's your guy, the Florida guy. He wants to help you. What was that guy's name again?
I don't know. It's the Florida guy. I haven't talked
to him. I said that to you, didn't I? Said that in the group chat.
Did you?
Yeah, I sent you his Instagram. Like you were like, I'm going to check his Instagram and the whole deal.
Wasn't it like someone's putting coach or whatever?
Steve. Yeah, Steve. He's like Sergio's guy.
Yeah. Oh, bad guy.
Which is tough right now. Steve Sweeney. Sweeney.
You're getting a DM right now.
Steve.
I guess the tip from what I said, that ramble I just had about process is basically come up with your own and just take it slow.
Swing your swing.
It's actually interesting that you bring up process because me and JT had a similar conversation when I was down there in Georgia that like for putting and pre-shot where he was looking at me before I would putt and I've just got the putter like all over the place and I had it like above my knees. I was holding it like a baseball bat. He's like, you're not like, you're looking like a guy who's not going to break 90. You're looking like a guy who's not going to break 100. So if you have the right process and it's as crazy as it sounds, like if you have a process of a guy who looks like he knows what he's doing, you will more times than not you have a better result. So just always have the same routine when you're walking up to a putt, when you're stalking a putt, when you're looking at a shot, like what are you trying to actually do? And if just thinking about that each time, and you're right, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of effort because when you're not well fed or when you're playing like shit or you just don't want to be there, you throw all that out the window and it ends up fucking with your game. If you always have a process and zero in on what you want to do, it's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but the result is going to be better than if you just step up, do a couple practice swings that aren't real practice swings and try to hit the ball. Process goes a long way in getting your focus on what you're actually trying to do.
Yeah,
and that's a lot.
Agree.
JT talked about the exact same thing.
There's a reason why when you're standing on a tee and you like,
we got two Riggses right now.
We've got two Riggses. When you look out onto a fairway and you're like, this really catches my eye. It's like for righty, maybe it's like a left to right fairway, bunker on the left, and you know you're going to draw it around the bunker. You've got room out right. There's like the trees kind of go all the way out to the right, but you have so much rough. You're like, I'm going to absolutely unload on one here. And it usually goes pretty well. Obviously, we're not the best golfers in the world. You tug one, you lock one out. But there's a reason why whatever activates in your brain at that moment, that confidence of like standing behind the ball, seeing the shot and being like, oh yeah, this one's going to go really well. How do we get that to go on every shot, even the tough ones? Right?
So finding that field goal, because like
field goals,
finding that viewpoint where like, okay, on a tee ball, it's like if it's a little bit more open right, I'm fine. Or like Trent, like if there's trees short left and you've got to hit a cut, like that screws up your eye. So how do you get to a spot where like you're seeing a good line for you so you feel comfortable? I feel like is massive. The only tip I have is just like still head, straight left arm are the two things that I always go back to. And I feel like I've made the swing too complex is just keep the fulcrum still.
Yeah. The tip that I've given on this podcast for years now is the Kisner knuckle tip, which he taught me at Palmetto. And it actually goes back to Lurch a little bit because it's all about strengthening your grip. And Lurch was told that once and he just squeezed the club harder. And that's not it. It's the knuckle tip is when you look down, if you're a righty, how many knuckles can you see on your left hand? And ideally you can see 2, 3 is good too. But before Kisner gave me the tip, I would look down and I saw no knuckles. So it's all about turning that left hand in. And if you just do that, and it really did change my game. And JT and I still talked about it when I was down there. He's like, can you see the knuckles? And I'm like, yep. And that's still a big part of it. And it will change your game instantaneously. I've gotten great feedback from people being like, just strengthening the grip of my left hand, being able to see those knuckles, I'm just able to hit the ball a lot better. So if you're not doing that, if you look down and you can't see any knuckles, just turn that hand in and feel it and swing away. And I guarantee, not that I'm going to guarantee anything in the game of golf, but you're going to hit the ball better, I think, if you do the knuckle tip. So I've been giving that out for years.
And we have breaking news for Trent that Breaking 90 is going to start, I believe, this week. Are we doing our first attempt? I don't know how much you want to talk about like what we got going on, but I mean, we're starting these attempts pretty damn soon.
Yeah, I texted you last week being like, are you free Thursday to go out and film a Breaking 90 round, the first one? And you
we're just
said
back.
Yes.
We're just
kind of back, and I need to go and practice it a little bit before I get out there, but I got a couple days. I want to get some swings in before I try to break 90 for the first time, but it's happening. We're just
Dude,
back.
You should just come out here on like Wednesday and you should practice around before you could sleep at the place, and then we'll go play Thursday. That's an option for you.
Dude, I would do that.
Yeah, we might just do that.
Okay.
Text me. We'll figure that out because we need to practice. We need to like chip around and play because I want the viewers to know we're going to try and do this as fast as possible. You're not like milking. You're going to try and break 90. Every time you go out there, you're trying to defeat the challenge of being an 80s golfer. Now, it may not be easy, but like round one, like if we do it, we do it. That's right. How it's going to happen. So I'm really excited for that. And then for me, I've got Scott Fawcett coming to Long Island for episode 2 of Fixing Frankie. So he's already locked and loaded. It's going to be in a couple weeks. He's already claimed that like if I just let him talk, he's already said like he's done other videos before with like other golf people, and like a lot of times it's like YouTube-y and whatever. Like if he just lets me be him, he's going to make me a fantastic golfer with what I already have from Dr. Brett McCabe. So you add process and then course management. And then I'm going to go do technique with probably Trevor Immelman. It's like Frankie might start to get a little bit dialed in over here because the brain's starting to turn. The brain is starting to turn. And you guys know me. I'm so neurotic that when I get hooked on something, I can't stop thinking about it. So like I'm talking so much, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the process.
I like that you're excited. I had to change my phone real quick, boys. I was in a little bit of a panic because my computer was at 1%, and I realized that maybe if it died, it wouldn't save the audio. So I had to save the audio real quick and then change to my phone and try to get out ahead of it. So that's where we're at. But I think the process comments are incredible because I think that we are horrible at it as a group. I think we are a couple of the worst people at process, and I think you know it. Like when you hit a shot, we've always said like I had no fucking plan there. Just having a plan and genuinely trying to commit to something. And it's amazing that when you really think about how pathetic we are, like we have no energy, we have no mental strength. We don't like get the right amount of sleep or eat the right amount of things. So we just like lose mental toughness and we lose mental strength. We get exhausted. We don't think through shots because our brain is just quitting on us because we don't do anything to fuel it the right way whatsoever. It's incredible how much all that stuff starts to add up and how it's just true that we don't, from a total approach standpoint, we do like 5% of what we probably should be doing.
And it slips out fast. Dude, I had 3 pars in a row yesterday, played in 20-mile-an-hour winds at Colonial Springs. I'm feeling like I'm on a roll. I'm like, let's get a birdie on this par 3. Strong 20-mile-an-hour wind from right to left. Pins all the way on the right, water on the right. So it's like you're talking 5 feet off the right is the pin. An idiot, me, with just no process, stepped up. And I'm like, I'm going to hit this thing over the water, and the wind's going to bring it back, and I'm going to land it on this little 10-foot shelf where the pin is. Instead of hitting it, the green might be 20 yards long. Instead of just hitting it up there and then just taking my medicine and making my 5th par in a row, I tried to hit this thing to 2 feet from 175 yards away, and I hit it in the water. So it's like that. There was no process there at all. It was like cocky and like just stepping up and just like thinking I could bend the ball with the wind. Like who is that guy? That's not me. I should have just aimed at the pin. Talk about field goals. Aim at the pin, have it float back to the middle of the green. I walk away with a 2-putt. Maybe I walk away with a bogey, but it's a tough hole. Like there's water, there's everything. Process, man. It's a process.
Yeah.
Process. We got to trust the process. I would say that's our biggest fucking mistake as a group. All right, boys. I'm going to get back to the class. I'm watching a game. We're
roasting gators right now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Wow. You're roasting gators? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, that's like a full-blown gator.
You got him on the spinner, and there you go.
Skewer. Turning.
A skewer. That's what I was looking for.
No way.
Man.
You ever done a pig roast or something like that before, though?
That's
so fun.
Oh, yeah. I did when I went to Hawaii after I graduated from high school, we did a traditional luau where what you do is you dig a hole and you bury a pig and you cook it underground. We had to dig the hole. It was really hard. Really hard. Digging a hole, like, it's hard.
Digging a legit hole is hard work.
Yeah. Digging a hole is hard. But when you dig the hole, you bury the pig, and then you do the whole thing. It's a good time. It's a really good time.
Yeah, we used to do a pig roast every year for the parade through South Boston. It was awesome. I loved it. Good time.
Stu Feiner had a pig just fucking sprawled out, ready to get stuffed at his house the other day.
Dude, pig roasts are wild, dude, because the face and the body's like still very much in contact. It's quite a bit to look at and get it over before you start biting into the thing.
Yeah, Trent and I had that experience with crawfish, which I don't even know if you want to talk about because it was so horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we went to this crawfish boil, and it was the best thing of all time, best food ever. But the guy took
shout
us
out to Bevies.
He took us, and we can talk about it because we're just soft, but he took us in the back, and he's like, we'll show you how the crawfish is made, or like boiled. And like, man, there's this conveyor belt of just these fucking crawfish.
It's like Toy Story.
Oh, yeah, it's coming down, and they're literally, Lurch, hanging on to the last thread.
Oh, yeah.
And then it pushes them off, and they just go, no!
Dude, you ever boiled a lobster or something like that?
It's not good. You
throw a live lobster into a boiling pot of water, man. They say, like, humanely, you're supposed to stab the thing, I think, with a knife, but, like, I mean, you're killing something.
Jesus.
You know, it's pretty obvious, like, their life's, like, you know, in short order. And, like, who killed it? You did, dude. You dropped the lobster into the hot pot of boiling water and closed the lid on it. So
at some point, they like look at you like, stop.
Right.
You know, it's just like
right. Like it is.
Dude, you're really gonna do this?
I'll forgive you up to this point. If you just take me out of this fucking boiling hot water, I'll maybe forgive you. Like I'll just walk my own way. Just drop me back in that ocean so I can just be a bottom feeding piece of shit. That just has nothing to do with what you're about to put on a buttered roll. You know what I mean? Just, I don't want to have anything to do with that nastiness that's going in your mouth.
It is so cowardly because we love all of these things like steak, lobster, shrimp, crawfish. But as soon as you put me and Frankie in a room where we have to deal with the fact that they're just dropping these crawfish into boiling water, it's like, man, that's tough. That's tough.
Conveyor belt's real, too.
Conveyor belt was too real.
That's like real. Premeditated, dude. You're just throwing them on these things and like they're all looking at you being like, we good? It does remind me of Toy Story a little bit.
The worst part was them holding on and like barely, and like they were catching it, so it's like dangling, and then it was he'd kind of walk over and just like flick them off. Like, you know, just like get in there. Just fuck, oh no.
They were so good though.
I almost became a vegan that night. Like as soft as that is, like I don't know, but
and then we just poured them on a table and
ate them all.
All of them. Table pour is incredible though.
Oh,
yeah,
Bevies is the spot, man. It was so good.
Awesome.
Oh, dude, Lurch would die there. You'd eat 20 pounds of crawfish.
Dude, it's so fun. You just get a beer, salty, like hot taste that they are. It's like it's just dynamite. You can just
maybe wear a crawfish outfit that you don't care what's on you. Maybe just wear like old shorts. Like that's the problem. We came in like golf attire. We went straight from the golf course, so I was kind of like standing over my shit. Like, so if I could just wear like a raggedy old t-shirt and like and shorts and just fucking. Like,
even sometimes when you rip them apart, dude, you could hit the guy next to you and you're like, I'm sorry, but like, that's just kind of a battle wound here at the crawfish table. You know what I mean? Like, that sauce can go anywhere.
It happens.
Briggs got to get back to the classic.
He does. All right.
All right, boys. Great show. I imagine we might have some information about Phil or whatnot, hopefully by the next show.
I would think so, honestly. Well, you guys think so? You think he'll announce something before everyone starts making their way to Tulsa? No, you don't think tomorrow or Wednesday?
I think like later in the week, Thursday, Friday, maybe.
You might just dump it on a Friday.
Bury.
You think there's any chance that Phil just shows up without an announcement?
No.
Yeah, same.
No. He's got to say something, dude. It's been crazy.
We'll see.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Right.
Everybody have a great day. Hit it hard.
Go Rangers.
Ugh.
Hit it hard.